The rain was relentless that night. Thick sheets of water fell from a bruised sky, turning alleyways into shallow rivers. Most of the city had already tucked itself indoors, hiding from the storm that roared through like a warning from the heavens. But not everyone had shelter. In a forgotten alley behind a rundown convenience store, a stray German shepherd named Max huddled beneath a torn awning. His ribs showed beneath his soaked fur, and one of his ears was torn at the tip, a badge from a fight long ago. Life had been unkind to Max, but it hadn't broken him. He still carried a sense of purpose in those deep brown eyes. That night, as thunder rolled overhead, Max heard something odd. A sound not belonging to the rain, nor the wind. It was crying.
Faint. Weak.
Fragile. Max's ears perked up. He pushed himself up on tired legs and followed the sound, weaving between dumpsters and cardboard boxes until he found the source, a rusted trash bin with a lid half closed. He sniffed. His ears dropped slightly.
Fear. Blood.
Milk. With a soft whimper, he pawed the lid open, and there, wrapped in a thin, soaked towel, was a newborn baby. Tiny, barely breathing. Its skin pale, its lips trembling blue. Max did not understand human cruelty, but he understood need. He knew this child would not survive long here. So he acted. With surprising gentleness, Max grasped the edge of the towel with his teeth and lifted the baby from the bin. He knew where to go. He'd been chased away from enough places to remember the scent of one he was never allowed near. St. Jude's General Hospital, 6 blocks away. 6 long blocks. In the storm. Carrying a life in his jaws. As Max padded through the flooded streets, each step heavy with water and grief, memories clung to him like the storm. Just days ago, he had a home. A warm one. The Andersons. Little Emma, with the laugh that made birds tilt their heads. Mr. Anderson, who always sneaked him bacon under the table. And sweet Mrs. Anderson, who brushed his fur every night like it was the most important thing in the world. Then came the fire. Max had barked and barked, trying to warn them. But the smoke moved faster than sound. When the fire trucks came, Max was pulled away, struggling and snapping at the air, watching his world disappear behind flames and sirens. Since then, he'd wandered, eating scraps, dodging cars, sleeping in shadows. But something in him broke that night, and nothing had filled that void. Until now. The tiny weight swaddled in the towel. The heartbeat Max could feel as he carried the baby gently, step by step. He didn't know why it mattered so much, but it did. This child, this baby was his now. The storm battered harder, but Max didn't slow down. His paws bled from glass and sharp stones, but he didn't stop. The baby whimpered, and Max quickened his pace. By the time he reached the steps of St. Jude's General Hospital, his legs were trembling. His fur was soaked, his breath ragged. But he climbed the slick stairs and stood at the glass doors. They opened automatically with a whoosh. The warmth inside hit him like a dream. Nurses looked up, startled, and froze. There, in the center of the entrance, stood a stray dog with sorrow in his eyes, carrying a baby like it was made of porcelain. One nurse, a young woman named Kara, gasped and rushed forward. "Oh my God, is that a—" she whispered, already reaching for the child. Max didn't growl. He didn't move. He just looked up at her and let go. Kara caught the baby just in time. She cradled the infant close, her hands trembling. The child was cold, barely responsive, but alive. Then she looked down at Max, and for a second, their eyes met. "What happened to you?" she asked softly, noticing the blood on his paws, the way his body swayed with exhaustion. Max whimpered, then collapsed at her feet. Chaos unfolded in the emergency room. Doctors rushed in as Nurse Kara shouted for a gurney. Another nurse took the baby and ran toward the neonatal unit, already calling out vitals and requesting a warming bed. The baby, now listed as Jane Doe, was alive, but just barely. Hypothermia. Possible infection. Malnutrition. As the child disappeared behind swinging doors, Max stirred. Weakly. He tried to stand, tried to follow. But a firm hand stopped him. Security. Whoa, buddy, the guard said, reaching for his radio. Stray just wandered in with the baby. Yeah, you heard that right. Max barked once. Not loud. Just enough to express it. He needed to see her. But no one was listening. He was a dog.
Just a dog.
Still, he didn't leave. He stayed curled up right outside the NICU doors, where he'd last seen the baby. Nurses tried to shoo him away, but every time they did, Max limped right back to the same spot, lying down with his nose resting on the floor, eyes fixed forward. Kara noticed. She sat beside him during her break, holding a sandwich she didn't eat. You're not going to leave, are you? She whispered. Max blinked slowly, then let out a low, aching sigh. He couldn't explain what he felt, but something inside told him this child mattered. She was small, alone, just like him. Maybe they belonged to each other now. Elsewhere in the hospital, whispers turned into conversations, and conversations into something bigger. Did you hear? The dog brought the baby. No tags. No collar. Just carried her in. It saved her life. By morning, a local reporter had gotten wind of the story. And by afternoon, the photo was everywhere. Max lying outside the NICU door, eyes full of quiet pain and purpose, wrapped in a blanket a nurse had placed over him. A guardian angel in fur, the headline read. But for Max, none of that mattered. He was just waiting. 3 days passed. 3 long days of uncertainty, prayers, and sleepless nights. The baby, now called Hope by the nurses, slowly began to heal. She opened her eyes for the first time on the second day. Her tiny hand reached out, and Kara swore she smiled when Max barked softly through the glass. Max never left his spot. The hospital made an exception. How could they not? Staff brought him food, warm blankets, and cleaned his wounds. Children from the pediatric wing would come visit him and sit by his side. He became a symbol of something rare, selfless love. And then, on the 3rd night, something unexpected happened. A man in his 60s walked into the ER. He was holding an old, soaked photo. It showed Max, younger, healthier, sitting beside a little girl with pigtails. I know that dog, the man said quietly. That's Max. He belonged to my daughter's family. He was Mr. Anderson's brother, the only living relative after the tragic fire. He hadn't known Max had survived. And he hadn't known about the baby until he saw the story on the news. Kara led him to Max. The moment the dog saw him, his tail thumped once, then again. He remembered. Later that night, after a long conversation with hospital staff and social services, a decision was made. The baby couldn't go back to whoever had abandoned her. But she also wouldn't go into the system. Because someone wanted her. The man, now the baby's legal guardian, said it without hesitation. She saved Max's heart. Maybe he saved hers, too. They belong together. And I have more than enough love left to give. 6 months later, the small white house on the hill had laughter in it again. Hope was chubby and strong, gurgling happily in her high chair. Kara, now a regular visitor, brought her homemade applesauce and always made Max a peanut butter treat. And Max was home. No longer a stray. No longer alone. He slept at the foot of Hope's crib every night, ears alert, tail twitching. He had found his purpose again, as protector, as family. They had all lost something once. But now, they had each other. And, in the simplest, most unexpected way, love had come full circle.